Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be showing you the corner to corner method, also known as C2C. I'm using chunky yarn, well, Aran weight yarn, but it's called Sheep's Chunky Monkey. I've got 3 different colours here because I want to make a fruit salad type blanket throw. So, oh, and I've got a 5mm hook. So I'm going to start with the pink, if I can find the end. Oh, there it is. Move that away. So for this method you need to have a general knowledge of how to make a slip knot, how to do a chain, how to do a slip stitch, and how to do a US double crochet, which in UK terms is a triple crochet. This pattern is great if you are working up a blanket or a throw because it works up really quickly. And then you can obviously do a solid colour, you can swap and change colours like I am, or there are things online called graphgans. So if you just Google C2C pattern, you'll see these graphs, a grid basically with all these little squares, and it'll have different colours and different squares. You follow the rows and then the end result is a pattern picture. I've done some myself. I have done the Friends Central Perk sofa, the peephole on Monica and Rachel's door, the gold peephole with the purple in the background, and I have done Joey and Chandler's Magna Doodle. And they do take quite a lot of time because of this constant colour changing. I mean, you could do one square and then you're changing colour and then you're changing colour again, so in that respect it is time consuming. But if you're just doing block colours, it is a lot faster. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a slip knot. And then I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in the 4th chain from the hook, so this one, I'm going to do a double crochet. I'm trying to crochet through looking at a camera screen and it is a bit tricky. So double crochet into that 4th chain from the hook, and then again double crochet into that next chain, which is the 5th from the hook, and another double crochet into that last chain, and that is our first row finished. So obviously corner to corner you're working up from this way. So the first row is just the one little square in the corner. Our next row then is 2 squares, next to 3 squares, and so on. So that is my first row done. You are then going to turn your work, and that's super important because if you don't turn your work it doesn't work properly. So I've just done the first row, turn the work over, and then going to chain 6 again. 3, 4, 5, 6. And as before I'm going to do a double crochet into the 4th, 5th and 6th chain from the hook. Is that the 4th? So difficult looking through a camera lens. 6th, 4th, there it is. So double crochet into the 4th, double into the 5th, and then another double crochet into the 6th chain. So we're now going to do a slip stitch, basically join this square up with the first row so it's not like Pac-Man. So in this big chain space of the row before, this big gap by here, you're just going to insert your hook and do a slip stitch. And now we want to make the square on top here, the second square, so you're going to chain 3 and then do 3 double crochets all into this big chain space. 1, 2, and 3. And that is our second row finished. It can look a little bit wobbly and messy at the beginning, but once you build up more rows it does look a lot better. So again, I'm going to turn my work and then repeat the process. So chain 6, 4, 5, 6, double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, and double crochet into the next chain, and then another double crochet. And then, like last time, you're going to slip stitch into this big chain space to join that square up with the previous row. Again, then to make the square on top, you're going to chain 3 and then do 3 double crochets into the chain space. 1, 2, and 3. And then again, slip stitch into this chain space. And this is the last square of our 3rd row. So chain 3 again, and then do 3 double crochets into the big chain space. So you're basically repeating this pattern over and over while you're increasing to the size you want. And then when it comes to decreasing, the method changes a bit. I'm just doing a small square just to show you. So I'm going to change colour now just to show you a colour change. So I'm going to go over to orange. That has unravelled all over my desk. There it is. So I'm just going to tie the yarn on to the pink working yarn I've currently got. I always double tie just to keep it secure. And I'm going to trim this pink yarn now, just so that it doesn't get in my way. And that zip you can hear is my little crochet pouch while I rummage for scissors, because I wasn't prepared. So cut this pink yarn, leave a generous tail because you need to weave in the ends later. It's easier with a bigger tail. So get away. So I'm now going to turn my work and then again chain 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. Is that the 4th? It's not, it's the 3rd, that's the 4th. 1 double, double again into the next chain. Oh, it's number 2. Double into the next chain, number 3. So now again, slip stitch to the chain space of the square adjacent, and then carry on. Chain 3, 3 double crochet into the chain space. 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch into the next square or cube, chain 3, and then 3 double crochets again. And then again slip stitch into the next square. This is our last square of the row. 3 double crochets into the chain space. So the only time you'll do the 6th chain is when you're starting a new row and increasing. Otherwise, all the other squares in the row you chain 3, followed by your 3 double crochet. So that's another row done. Now I'm going to turn the work again, and I'll do this last row and then I'll change colour. Oh no, sorry, I will start decreasing to show you. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yarn over, and in the 4th chain from the hook, do a double. In the next chain, double again. Sorry for the loud bang, that's my husband who can't be quiet with the door. In the 3rd chain, no, sorry, the 6th chain, our 3rd double crochet. See, banging the door has confused me. Slip stitch. So I'm just going to work up the rest of this row now. If you do need to pause the video to catch up, or if you're making a really big project, then it's obviously going to take you a lot longer than it will me. So once you've got the hang of increasing, then just carry on until you're at the size you want, and then join me later so I can show you how to decrease and close the piece off. I love how bright these colours are. And this yarn is called Sheep's Chunky Monkey. I get all my yarn from the Wool Warehouse website. I'm in the UK. And they've got so many colours, this brand. It's really soft as well, so it's great for like hats and things. And blankets. Ooh. And apologies for my video skills, but I am a complete novice at this whole tutorial, videoing myself in any format sort of thing. So I'm on my last square, and I'm going to chain 3 and then 3 double crochets into that chain space. Right, so I'm now going to start decreasing, so I'm going to close the square so it will be like, ooh, like this when it's done. So you're going to turn your work, always turn your work after every row, whether you're increasing or decreasing. But instead of now chaining 6 up to make another row, I'm going to do 3 slip stitches along the side of this square. And go into that first stitch and do a slip stitch. Ooh. Another one in the second, another in the third. And then slip stitch into the big chain space like we normally would when starting a square, and then do your square as normal. Chain 3 and 3 double crochets into the chain space. The rest of the row will be as normal then. Slip stitch into the next, chain 3 and 3 double crochets into that chain space, and just do that all the way along. I was going to change colour again, but I'm just going to stick with the orange for now because I'm doing a small panel and I will be unravelling all of this afterwards to make my super big blanket. Slip stitch, chain 3, 3 double crochets, and then the last square of the row, slip stitch, chain 3 and another 3 double crochets into that chain space, and that is the last square of this row. So as always, turn your work, don't chain up because we're decreasing, so just slip stitch in the 3 stitches on the side of the square. Oh, can't seem to grab this one, doesn't want to play. Oh, there it is. and then slip stitch into the big chain space and continue making your square, completing your row. I do think I should have used a smaller hook with this yarn because it's looking a bit too gappy for my liking. So I think when I undo this and start again, I'm going to use a 4.5mm rather than the 5. So I like it all to look tight and tidy. I don't like gaps and things like that. Slip stitch, chain 3, three doubles, which in the UK is a treble. Despite being from the UK and living in the UK, I prefer the US terminology. Just because when I was learning, most tutorials, video tutorials and patterns and so forth were all written in US terms, so it was just the easier one to learn, just because the majority of patterns and things are all US. Some do have the UK abbreviations, but not all, and I didn't want to make it confusing. Right, now here we are slip stitching into the next square, but we're obviously not building another square up now because we are decreasing. So it's slightly different here. You're still going to turn your work, but this time you're going to slip stitch along the top of this square. 1, 2, 3, only do 3, and then slip stitch into the big chain space and work your square as normal with 3 chains and 3 double crochets. Ooh. Slip stitch, make your square. Like I said before, if I am going too fast or if you're making a really big project, then just pause the video or come back later. And if you are unfamiliar with any of these stitches, then there are mini tutorial videos on my channel. 1, 2, 3. 3 doubles into the chain space. Ooh. And then again, slip stitch into the next. That's the last one of that row. Turn your work and just do 3 slip stitches across the top of the square. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch into that big chain space and then work your square by chaining 3. 3 double crochets all into that same chain space. How many have we got left? Oh, we're nearly done. Okay, so slip stitch. I think this is the last square of this row. Again, slip stitch into the next. Turn your work. 3 slip stitches across the top of this square. 1, 2, and 3. Then slip stitch into this big chain space. This is our last square now, so chain 3, 3 double crochets, last one, slip stitch into the chain space, and then turn your work, still turn your work, even though we're not making any squares and we're not decreasing anymore. Turn the work and tidy this one up by slip stitching across the top 3. Sorry, that's my phone. Like you did the other squares. Oh, the last one's been fiddly. Oh. And there you go. And that is how to do corner to corner. Like I said, I should have used a smaller hook because I don't like these gaps. So you can use whatever size yarn or whatever size hook you like. Just make sure that it's suitable. And there you go. I am going to undo all this one now and just do stripy pink, orange and yellow to make it look like fruit salad colours, and I'm going to make it huge. So when you do finish, you obviously trim the yarn now and weave in the ends, weave in any ends if you've made colour changes, which is the most hateful bit for most crocheters, I think, is the weaving in, but needs to be done. And there you have it. Hopefully you found this video useful. If so, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks for watching.